Alright guys, Hayzink here, welcome back to the channel for another moaning Street Fighter Duel video. I'm not actually planning to moan in this video, it's a bit of a joke, but at the same time I do have something that I want to speak about and kind of get off my chest because, hey, I'm on a roll, so I may as well continue. This is more of a, what the hell's going on, right? Because obviously you guys all know that in the game they added a feature. That feature was called Soul Power. We all know about Soul Power. They added Soul Power to the game around about the 26th of July, because that's when I made the first video on it, and I made the first video on it when the first batch of units came out. Okay, so we had a whole batch of units that were given Soul Power. It elevated, at that point in time, Viper up to being one of the better, or if not one of the best, free-to-play DPS characters. So we've seen at that point that Soul Power had a huge impact in the game. So anyway, after that first batch of characters, they went ahead and gave it to a second batch of characters. Characters such as Bison. We get other characters who it was added to, who off the top of my head, I struggle to remember right now, but him was another character who it was added to in the second batch of characters. And if I look at when I made my priority list, that was round about the time when the second batch of characters were added to the game. So if you look, it was just a little over a month. So it was about, what, 6 weeks between batch 1 and batch 2. So either, I want to say the 6th, between the 6th and the 9th is when it would have been added, that second batch of Soul Power characters, right? It's the 8th of December and they've added no more Soul Power characters to the game. Have they just forgotten about this feature? Where are the characters that they're adding it to? If they had continued on this timeline here of around about 5 to 6 weeks, we should have had 2 full new batches of Soul Power characters by now. You've got characters who are now for some reason sitting above other characters who are technically in the same grouping of characters, i.e. standard faction free-to-play units. Units like, even though they're fantastic just now, units like Yun, Yang, Dalsim, Blanca, you know, all these characters, there's no reason why they haven't gone ahead and given them Soul Power. And every new divination unit that releases, so characters like Witch Jury, characters like Beckin, what's her face that just came out, Crimson Viper, or Chief Viper as we're now calling her. I like Crimson Viper, I think it sounds better than Chief Viper. These units are, how long is it going to be until they get Soul Power? Because they make sure to give every limited unit Soul Power as soon as it launches, which is fine, but they don't do it for these divination units, keeping them a kind of level below these units, which again is fine, I don't have a problem with that. But if I had a timeline where I knew that 6 characters, 1 from each faction type, well, it would be 5 characters, were added in a rotation of maybe every 6 weeks or whatever, that would be cool. But as it stands just now, as you can see by looking at the dates, the 9th of September, so that I'm not misquoting the actual numbers, I'll go and check. So if we look, the 9th of September, so it wouldn't have been the 9th because that would have been the Saturday, right? I'm looking back here. They always do the updates. So it was probably added on the 7th, right? Because the Thursday or the Wednesday is usually when they do these updates. So let's take it as the 7th, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 weeks. It has been 13 weeks since we have had a Soul Power update. So what I said was right. We should have, if they had stuck to that original kind of formula of giving it 5 to 6 weeks, between soul power updates, we should have had 2 entire new batches of units who would have had soul power added to the game. Why is this a big deal? It's a big deal because in the game, you'll know trying to push content becomes difficult. Variation becomes difficult. You're having to use multiple units within teams to try and take on bosses, etc. Having more units with soul power available will give you more variety and greater choice within your existing box to push that content. Now, it shouldn't detract from new units because much like games like Dokkan Battle, for example, who has an easy A system, which I guess you could relate it to soul power. It takes older units who maybe aren't as relevant now and it gives them certain boosts through this easy A system and it makes them more relevant. Those units are still not quite on par with newly released units, and you would expect that to be the same here. You would expect soul power to give these older units a bit of a boost, but new units are still probably going to outperform them. That is not a surprise, okay? But as it stands just now, it really seems like they have just forgotten that this format even exists. And unless they are going to give us a massive batch of possibly 10 units, 2 from each faction, or even more, I don't see the reason why they've got this delay. To me, we badly need to get these units getting their soul power. It gives us more to focus on in game, it gives us more to aim for, it gives us more to have fun with, it gives us more of a goddamn chance to push these bloody things down here, these factional towers, which ultimately we're probably going to need them to adjust the difficulty on, which they will do, but when? That at least will give us a chance of maybe inching out a little bit more progress on these things when they do soul power these characters. And again, there is many characters who will greatly benefit from it. We can pretty much work out already who is going to get it from the Master faction. It's probably going to be Gen, if we go with the date. If we look at Inferno, it's probably going to be Vega, because just going with the order of release, it's probably going to be Vega. Then at that point, who knows who it's going to be? I mean, it could be anyone from here. I wouldn't be surprised if it was him, to be honest. It could be anyone from here. Nah, it's a bit more difficult, but I would probably say it'll be him. And from here, it could probably be anyone. I would love it to be him, but knowing our luck, it will probably be more likely to be someone like him or her, right? But this is what I'm saying. These units, there's going to be good units that get soul powered and there's going to be bad units that get soul powered, right? But if they don't churn through them on a regular basis, if we don't get them every 4 to 6 weeks, then you could be waiting forever before the likes of Dalsim gets his soul power update. Whereas if they're doing a rotation of 4 to 6 weeks, then okay, the next 2 rotations you might get DiCapri, you might get Mayor Cody, but then you get Dalsim, you know? Until they start that, we're not going to get these units. They're just going to sit there having some random units having soul power and others not. It makes no sense. It's completely arbitrary. There's no reason for it, and it really right now just seems like they have completely abandoned soul power for older units. They're focused on the new units. Okay, fair enough. But where the hell are these updates for these older units? Soul power, where have you gone? Come back. We need you. Anyway, that's it. Bye.